Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Man, what a day. This is going to be a doozy of an episode, talking some Celtics, some Mavs, some Brooklyn Nets, episode 54 of the C&C Podcast, NBA season. We're going to wrap things up a little bit. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff today, and we have two amazing guests, one of which I'll introduce right off the bat. WizWit. Now correct me if I'm wrong, because Three Ball says I'm wrong a lot. But Brooklyn captain, right?
Yes, correct.
A little bit.
That's it, Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets.
We're here. Listen, This is gonna be a battle of the accents right now. You got a Brooklyn accent and a Boston accent. I don't know. The rest of the viewers are gonna be able to not be able to tell us apart. I don't know. They're pretty similar, but I don't know how strong his accent is compared to mine.
Well, dude, I'm excited to decipher all of it. And dude, we're pumped that you're on. So thanks for being here, dude.
Thank you, guys.
There's no way around this. I'm just gonna say it. We have Sir AndyMac. If you can't tell, and if you're just listening, there's like 99,000 Boston memorabilia and pictures and autographs and shirts. His beard's looking beautiful. Holy moly. Andy, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Awesome to see you. To be back on the podcast is exciting. Also to be here with WizWit. I've only seen him in the Discord. I haven't seen him face to face, so it's nice to match a face of the name. And I'm happy to be back. For
sure, man. So am I. It's very rare that we have 3 different captains on a podcast representing 3 different teams. One of which wants to be in the finals, but their team isn't. One of which is in the driver's seat of the finals, so they may think. And one of which is the secret little underdog in the middle who's going to come back and break an NBA record, hopefully, being down 0-3 in that game 7 win. So let's dive in. NBA Finals, Celtics, Mavs, Luka, Kyrie, Jalen, Jason. Dude, it's been nuts, right? Andy, you go first. I'm sure you expected to just come in and sweep the Mavs, right? To start out 0-3, or even to get to 3-0, right?
Well, I feel like in the beginning, it seemed like the Mavs were favored. I'm not sure why, but I feel like leading up to the finals, we've been the best team overall in the playoffs with our record, especially on the road. Yeah. I wasn't expecting a 3-0 start. I thought it would be a little more competitive, and the games have been close though. So I was kind of surprised at first. I didn't think it was going to be a sweep. So the Mavs winning the other night, but how they won was what was shocking, where the Celtics seemed like they didn't show up.
Yeah, and interesting take, because on a few things. First of all, I feel like the only people that thought the Boston was ever the underdog are Boston fans. I think every Mavs fan is like, what are you talking about? Y'all should have won 4 championships out of the last 5 or 6 years. Like, y'all have been a dominant team in the league for a while, I feel like. What about you? Wiz, did you watch the games? Are you following the finals? Did you watch the first 3 Boston wins? Like, what are you thinking over there?
It's looking in Boston's favor, obviously. As a strong team through the playoffs, really didn't seem to have much trouble up to these finals. So I think it's just great to have this matchup, to have 2 elite players on each team face each other. Sometimes it's a team effort, but sometimes when you get 2 superstars on each team playing each other, I just think it's going to be a great, a series from the beginning. Obviously, as things started unraveling, maybe you thought they were going to be closer games in this, but I just think it's tonight. I mean, any night you've been catching the game, you never know what could happen. So it's been a lot of expectations before it started, but I think it's just good as each game been happening. The kind of things have been shifting, So right now, Boston's really putting a strong starting five every night, and it's just nice to see like what key pieces each night for Boston. I think so far has been taking charge. If it's Jaylen Brown night, if it's Drew Holiday making the difference, Tatum making the difference, it's just it's been a different person on that starting five every night. First game was Porzingis. Now, coming from New York, I knew that. I knew Porzingis was going to come out and he was going to take charge of that game because why? Every player who plays in New York and leaves becomes great afterwards. So I knew he was having one superstar game, and that's the one. I called it to all my buddies. I said, watch Porzingis go bananas because it always happens where you're like, nah, we don't need him on a New York team. These guys, they're washed up. They're done. All of a sudden, finals come along. That's it. There's your difference maker.
Andy, what I know you had to be so pumped, or I don't know. I assume Porzingis being out. Look at the towels waving. Porzingis out. Game one of the finals. He's in, baby. Like, tell me what you're thinking. Then obviously we all know he kind of gets hurt, but like, tell me what's going through your head.
So game one, I was at a restaurant with some friends watching it and seeing Porzingis come off the bench into the game and just right away made a difference, was hitting. It seemed like every shot he took, it went in. And the next day I was talking to some coworkers about the game, and it made me think of Willis Reed and like what Willis Reed brought to the Knicks that in that finals. I thought it was kind of similar to that performance. Porzingis wasn't hobbling as much as Willis, and Porzingis played more minutes, probably scored more points and everything. But I was trying to think of some player, some situation to compare it to, and that was the first thing that came to my mind was the whole Willis Reed thing that happened years ago. But yeah, it was incredible to watch. I don't think anyone expected that because
WizWit.
Yeah,
playing on Boston, I went straight to the Paul Pierce wheelchair game. That's what I was thinking.
So I think that like because he had been out the previous two series, like we really didn't know what we were going to get from him because obviously if you haven't played in an actual game for that long, you could be rusty.
For sure.
You might not have you might not just be ready, but I mean he was clearly ready.
Yeah.
It was awesome to watch.
I would say he was more than ready. He was too ready. As a Mavs fan, I was like, stop making shots. Right. And it's funny, WizWit brought this up because when your man was in Dallas, right, Porzingis, I was a huge fan. I was like, let's not get rid of this dude. If we can figure this out, I feel like he's one of the tallest people to drain threes consistently, like in the league. It's so, and I guess now more than ever, there's bigger guys out there on the 3-point arc that are draining them. But I always love watching him play. I saw him go to New York, and I had your feeling. Oh, great, he's going to go there and play great because he leave Dallas and everyone plays and wins. And then he went to Boston, and then I was like, like Boston, because Boston's already so good. Stop being good, Andy Mac. You're already so good. And I was like, he's a tall guy that they needed because y'all didn't really have that big man that could be in the center, post up, but also that's a threat at the 3-point line, right? You can't leave him alone. You have to keep someone on him. I don't know, 75 other players on your team. It's like you can't unguard one player because they're going to make threes. Stop being good at 3-point shooting too. Sorry. That's the last thing I'll say.
Well, sometimes it's tough to watch them shoot as many threes as they do and live and die by the three. I feel like that's kind of been frustrating at times where like I feel like they could go in the post a little more. I feel like at times they've moved the ball incredibly and look for that extra pass, but then sometimes we're watching them just settle for 3-pointers, so that can be tough to watch.
I feel, and maybe y'all agree, maybe you disagree, I feel like the league, it's really interesting watching evolution of basketball because back in the day it was drive it down the lane, take it, get it to the middle, get the hard 2 points. And now I feel like the whole league as a whole it's a 3-point live or die. If your team is off one night, you're probably at the 3-point line specifically, you're most likely not going to win. There's not a lot of teams that are playing hard-nosed, drive it down the center basketball. Mavs included. Like, if we have any night that every three and we're not shooting amazing at 3-point line, our chance is slim to none because that's how our team has been built, right? So right. I think you're exactly right. It's crazy how you see that, and it's almost scary because, like you said, and WizWit, I'm sure, with the Nets, you got some guys where you're sitting there, you're like, go in. Why are you shooting it? And then you got guys who are like, oh, he's making it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's in the playoffs. Obviously, there's such a heightened pressure with shooting threes, so it's interesting to see because all season long you have, just looking at this playoff season, you had the Pacers and the Knicks. Obviously, I'm in New York, so as relevant as that series was, you have the Pacers shooting. I think one of the top 3-point shooting teams during the season. And look during some of those games, if they're not throwing up all those threes, some of those last minute, half court, far 3 shots, hard shots, these things are going in. And if they didn't play like that all year, they might have not even attempted some of those threes. So it shows that it's a difference maker. It's interesting how the game's shifting that way.
And Andy, you brought this up a few seconds ago. Watching Boston, y'all are one of the best passing teams in the NBA, in my opinion. Like, you move the ball so well, and you have so many shooters that I think that allows you to move it even more because you're not leaving someone in the corner saying, like, don't worry about him, he's not going to make it, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like we have the personnel that we're able to spread the floor and hit shots from everywhere. I just feel at times when we go to the ISO ball, it's just tough to watch, and we have, 7 seconds left to get a shot off, and whoever's holding the ball is at the top of the key. So it's like, you can still pass out of that ISO, but it's like, why get it down to that point? I mean, I know they're that good, and they're the top of the, they're the best players in the world, but it's just frustrating as a fan to watch sometimes where I feel like, we could play a different style when, we have so many skilled players that just ISO and have everyone standing around at times. That's when I get frustrated.
Yeah. It's funny how emotional that we can be as fans watching our favorite teams play. Like, how many times do you find yourself yelling at the TV? Don't do that. Make he's wide open. Give it to. Don't shoot that. I caught myself last game, and I was so pumped, and I was just like, "Who am I yelling at? This is a TV. It's like, what's that? They can't hear me. They can't hear me. It went off Boston. It's Dallas's ball. They don't care. No,
it's true. Couch coaching is always fun. It's always good watching the games and pretending like you're on the side of the court, yelling at the players, but. It's just we're fans. We're dedicated. It's good. It's good to be passionate about it.
Speaking of dedicated, Andy, I got to ask, in case you're listening, you're not watching, is that a Larry Bird picture? Is it signed? Like, tell me about that in your background. Tell me about what you got going on. I see a jersey with some photos.
Yeah, so you see Macho Man on the bookcase?
I do. The people listening may not, but that is what I thought it is, right?
Yeah. So next to Macho Man is the bird. It's a picture of him at the All-Star game for the 3-point contest, and it is signed. And then next to that is a McHale jersey, which is signed, which is pretty sweet. And then I got the top shot in the middle.
Let's
go.
Boston
shirt. And then on the far end, I have a halftime pizza shirt, which is a pizza joint right across from. It's a pizza joint which is right across from the TD Garden, which I spent a lot of time in college at, going there before games. And I wanted to tell you, we were talking about being fans and being, as Wiz would say, couch coaches. Well, I mean, I think this is pretty. This shows my fandom. I went to game two. I didn't go into the Garden, but I went to a watch party, which was next to the Garden. And then I went to game 4, which was which was inside the Garden, but it was another watch party. So I haven't been able to see them play live, but I've gone to 2 watch parties that have been both in the city of Boston. So I think that shows how excited I am for them to be in the finals.
Yeah, man. Well, and I love that it's like he's holding a piece of pizza in the shirt. I love pizza. I'm just putting it out there.
Dude,
like I'm gonna share that. I shared this on an earlier episode. Most people haven't heard way back when Sir Mayor Triticus kind of started C&C. I've been kicked out of multiple CC's pizzas.
Oh boy.
And that's not even good pizza. You put me in front of good New York, like Northeast pizza, game over. Lou
you want to talk
Malnati's,
pizza?
You go to Mr. Joe's Original Pizza in New York. Like, there's all over. Like, I'm hungry.
Oh, nice. So you've been up here before to try some of the East Coast pizza, I assume. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Awesome.
I've been blessed. I've traveled all over the Northeast. I've actually done food challenges in New York. Really? I've done even in Boston. One of my best buddies is from Reading in Boston. And so he doesn't stop talking about the Celtics every day of his life. But he's one of my best buddies. He was a groomsman in my wedding. So food is why I travel, being honest. Nice. And then sports come in strongly second.
Nice. All right. I actually used to work on a traveling food show. So
no way.
We got to talk. Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
We got to talk. That's
nice.
crazy.
Yep. It was some fun.
You know what show I used to watch a lot was Man vs. Food.
Yeah.
That
is what got me into doing some food challenges. I did like the ghost pepper burger, and then I did like a sandwich eating one in Chicago. I'm the number 2 all-time catfish eating person in the state of Oklahoma. I ate 56 catfish fillets, 2 sides and a drink in an hour. It was pretty rad. But none of which helped the Dallas Mavericks win the first 3 games, unfortunately.
Very nice.
But speaking of back to basketball and talking about like the way it's changed, even in the first couple games, Boston was up 20-something points, 26 points at half or whatever it was at half. And then all the like non-diehard fans are like, turn the game off. No way they'll ever come back. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, we're coming back. We're going to come back. I already know it. Y'all are dumb. We're coming back. And then it's a 6-point game, a 4-point game with a whole quarter left. And I'm just like, every single one of these games could have gone either way if one thing happened. Dallas stopped turning over the dang ball, or, Al Horford, stop making shots, right? You haven't made shots all season. Go back and hide. Now you're making all your shots. So you're playing some of your best basketball of the year, in my opinion. And Horford's always solid, but it's like the Boston team is all coming together right at the right time and battling hard.
Well, it makes me think about with Horford. I don't know if you could share with me, like on Dallas, who is the veteran? Because Horford's been around forever, and if we go back to 2008 when we won the last championship, he was on the Hawks in the first series that first team that we had to beat in the playoffs. So he's been around the block. I feel like he's a great leader. He's a great a great locker room guy. He's an awesome teammate, and like you said, he's producing and he's playing great basketball. But who does Dallas have like him? Like I know they have Jason Kidd.
So I'll say a couple things, and I'm saying this, and this is being recorded, so I mean it. The only reason I would even have an inkling of hope or be cheering for Boston to win is for the man right there. He deserves it. He is the guy who's been around forever, who's been in it. The longest tenure Mavs, I think, right now, still on the team's Dwight Powell, right?
Yeah.
But to that guy on the court that actually plays, and it's a guy. Here we come. Here comes some hate and some love. It's Kyrie, because he is the only guy who's been in the situation, who's been in finals, who's led, who's been a team. When he was on Boston, I guarantee you that y'all loved having him in Boston, right? Now, the way he exited and all of that, and I mean, it's some of the most insane fan to player ratio of of like dislike, right? Coming into the Garden and like him coming in that first game, like hearing all the boos and like every time he touched the ball, I was like, oh my gosh, they genuinely hate this man. But for us, he's that guy because we don't have that on court veteran, been here a ton of times. I'm gonna step up when I need to step up and make it happen, right?
Right.
You know where he came from, right? You know what team sent him to your way, don't you?
Oh, I know. That's why I started it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't boo
Yeah,
it. Like, how was, I mean, you know.
We said, why do we need a point guard that could shoot from anywhere on the court? I mean, yeah, you guys have him.
Yeah, it's like one of the best all-time ball handlers. Like, geez,
Yeah,
who
really.
needs that type of guy?
Yeah, honestly. We'll keep Ben Simmons.
Dude, so
Yeah,
WizWit, go ahead, Andy.
I was just gonna say, like, respect to Kyrie as a player. I mean, he is an incredible player. I mean, to watch him is, I mean, he does things that a lot of players can't do, and how he handles the ball and how he can score. He is such a great basketball player. So
it was just unfortunate the way that he left Boston, right? I mean, because other than that, if he would have came in and said, "Hey guys, love my time here, but you know, I need to spread my wing, or I need to go some other place," or anything other than what he did, y'all might not hate him as much.
Yeah, I would just comment as everybody's different. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate that because that is true. I don't necessarily hate anyone that I don't actually know or have a really good reason to personally have felt that way about. But that's the way I was raised down south. We also used to get spanked as kids if we did something wrong. So I know not everyone was raised that way either. WizWit, I know you don't have a lot of Boston stuff, thankfully, hanging up in the background, but something I don't own. Tell me about what you got going on you got something hanging on the wall, you got something on the counter. Tell me about those.
Nah, we just got some digital frames that I've loaded in some moments of the videos, basically downloaded off of TopShot of the moments that I own. So just put a few in there, keep them on display. It's just something cool. It's just something I think is nice when you can easily display exactly what we're collecting in our pockets and in our laptops. So just something I think that's always cool to have out to show your collection, especially to new collectors or friends who don't really understand NFTs.
Are you saying that it's hard to describe what TopShot is?
Listen,
here, let me grab my computer and let me open it and log in. Well, now we have the app, right? But still.
There are just some keywords never to mention. As soon as you say blockchain, their head explodes. So I pretty much just say they're digital trading cards, and then I go from there. Because anything further, it's not. Yeah, you're down a bad path most of the times. Especially coming from my turf, everyone's always expecting the worst, or you're trying to take them or something. So coming from New York. This is
I'm
what it is.
I'm going to tell you guys from up north how to do this, okay? It doesn't work down south because not everyone feels the way I do about pizza, but I know most people up north do. All you got to say is, look, you download this, you buy 2 of these moments, you get a free slice of pizza.
Yep, that works. Ooh. That works. Listen.
Imagine if that was in the bar across from the Garden, like, download this app and buy a Boston moment and you get 1 free slice of pizza.
All right, so we got to put that in the works. I mean, we use the Flow, we use our Dapper wallet. You just scan it and boom, you got yourself whatever we got to hook up with. Even if it's like Papa John's and Domino's, your CC's, I don't care. We'll do it. We'll work it out. This is gonna be easy.
Tell me, what moment do you got going on, or what's in there right now? Is it one of your grails, one of your favorites? Like, what is it?
It's just a bunch of rares, a bunch of different stuff. Some of them I could generate them to other ones to switch and move with different moments that are in there. Just been collecting the stuff that I like from the beginning, and trying to compile a bunch of between Nets and Knicks moments, just kind of are my favorites, and some of the players that I follow just like watching and supporting. So it's always fun. Some of the grails, obviously, in the Cool Cats. As a Cool Cat member, I've worked towards getting the Nine Lives Lounge collection, and the Cool Cat set is one of my favorites in there. It's just something different. I think it's something that as the product grows, that also will grow into something more exclusive. So it's definitely a set of mine that I look to get, and finally about a little more than a year ago was able to complete it. So,
dude, that is so awesome. I remember that was like when I came into Top Shot. Andy, I'm not sure. I don't recall. I know we've talked, but I don't recall when you originally got in. But that was like the thing of Top Shot when I started was Cool Cats.
Yeah,
it is like you collect whatever you want, but if you don't have the Cool Cat set, it doesn't matter. Like that is the premier. I remember watching the ultimate like price of that final moment. I had the Luka, I had everyone else just waiting for LaMelo, and I was like, what's the price? Oh, like it was like 4,000, 6,000, 2,000, 600. And I was like, man.
Yeah, it's definitely some of the stuff's a fun. It's been a fun ride since coming in. I believe I came in around the Rising Stars pack, so this was S2 that February, I believe, and it's just been on daily since. So it's just a fun way to collect, to enjoy the sport, and it's it's different. It's something unlike if people watch sports every night because they got their sports books apps and they got money all over the place. That's fine, but it's a different experience with this because you're building for the long run. You're not building always just for that night or for the over under for that evening, and then boom, you're done. It's something you're building for a while, and then sometimes you hold on to something and you kind of see it shoot up, or it rises in value. It's just something where it's interesting because it's almost mixing like the stock market in a way with collecting your cards. And as a kid, I think
financial advice. I feel like we should say that every episode.
That's true. Not financially involved there, but when your wallet's at stake, there's always some sort of financing being done here. Come on.
Yeah.
When I mean, a lot of like ripping cards as a kid, it's it's something that's kind of sticks with you. And I ever since taking a look at Top Shot, it's just been such a great community, and appreciate you guys doing all the work you've been over the years, and just really supporting and pushing out something that brings so much fun to just any sports fan, with collecting. So great job, guys. Enjoy the ride.
You said it perfectly.
I just want to take a moment though and show some respect to Wiz though, because I feel like since he's become a captain, he's been pretty active. And I've noticed just in the Discord how often you are trying to organize and give away. So, respect to you for doing that. I just became a captain last summer, so this would be, in a month or so would be a year for me being a captain. But I can tell you, I've had a lot of fun. So let's take a moment and shout out to all the captains out there. Everybody's,
Absolutely.
Volunteering their time to help Top Shot and really promote the community aspect of things. I think that, I'm super lucky to work with Faldo, and then, he's not a captain, but Boston based is a huge help when it comes to running playback and doing different things to help our community. So I appreciate him. I appreciate Faldo, and I learned from Billy Topshot as well. So shout out to my Boston people, especially.
Dude, for sure. And Andy, I'm glad you said that. And it's kind of crazy because you made me start thinking. I think I'm coming up a month or so from now will be my first full year as kind of helping out and as captain as well. And it's crazy because I know, and we can get into this too a little bit, because captains, it's like everyone expects the world of you and they don't care just because you're the captain, like it's on you, right? Now, I'm not Roam. I don't have the yacht. I don't make all the decisions. but we can, and it's really cool because I was talking to a collector that the Mavs recently sent to the game 4, where the Mavs won. And he was like, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever been to. And he was like, thank you so much. And I was like, why are you thanking me? Like, I got the and it's like a whole, and it really makes you realize, like, we're in this together. Like, I know y'all are giving out tickets. Like, y'all sent people to the games, right, Andy? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah.
Like, have y'all been doing it the whole kind of playoffs, or just kind of the finals, or?
So what we've done this season, it's really been the playoffs that we've sent collectors to. So, we were, I feel like we were wise with our money, and we didn't spend it all right away, and we saved some of it. So, I reached out to some friends that had season tickets, and I bought season tickets from some friends, and then, I gave them away in the Discord. And then, we've literally given away seats to every single round. And for the first couple rounds, we gave away seats to or tickets to multiple games. So that was pretty cool. And what was really cool, I don't know if you read the story on the blog, but
I was going to bring it up. Tell us about that.
Gave away finals tickets to game 2. And it was really cool because Faldo and I both had a kind of a part in it where, he was able to vouch for the collector who won, and because he had to fly in from Europe.
Sure.
And he had to get a visa, and you need someone to basically vouch for you in the States. So Faldo did that. And then I reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to meet up because, he was just by himself. He wasn't, he didn't have any friends. He told me he hasn't been to the States hasn't been here since like 1986. So it's been a really long time.
Hey.
So isn't that crazy? So I met up with him at Banners. It's a restaurant, sports restaurant that's right next to the Garden, and it's got like one of the biggest TVs in the country. So it was a really cool spot,
right? Banners, because I feel like I've heard other Bostonites or like people talk to me about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a pretty popular place, and we went out. We met up at the pro shop, and then we went to Banners. We had lunch. Talked basketball, talked Top Shot, and then I surprised him. I had talked to him, maybe like days prior to him coming, and I said, would you be interested in potentially meeting Paul Pierce? So, unfortunately, he didn't get to.
I don't want to.
It's he didn't get to meet Paul Pierce because, I had bought a VIP ticket to meet Pierce, but I also had bought another ticket for just attending the Truth Lounge podcast. So, so I gave him a ticket. So he was like thrilled about that. So he got to sit like second row. He was really close to the stage, and he got to see Pierce. He got to see Rachel Nichols, Eddie House, Brian Scalabrine, Jason Terry, Cedric Maxwell. So he was really thrilled about that. It was just like the whole experience for him was excellent. And he had also mentioned that on his plane ride to Boston, he had met someone who's also a Celtics fan. And the guy had season tickets, and he told him that he was going to try to hook him up at the game, and he was able to get him. He was able to help get him closer to the court just to watch the warm-ups and not be told to like go back to his seat. So that was really cool, and it just kind of shows like how basketball is. It's global, it's worldwide, but also like being a Top Shot collector, someone like on the other side was over in Europe. Was so excited to come to and see the Celtics, but like it just showed we're a community, and Faldo and I worked together where we both helped this collector have a great experience, and like I felt like I was kind of like the welcome committee because I met up with him, I hung up with him. He was a great guy. We had a lot of fun. It was great, and he was very excited about the whole experience. He said it didn't feel real.
It doesn't even sound real. Like, I know that it is, right? But like sometimes, and I'm going to speak for myself because I don't want to assume anything, but sometimes even within Top Shot, you feel alone. You're like, I don't know what to do. I like, even if you're plugged into a community, like there's always times, and I can't imagine being in Europe or being someplace that I'm not surrounded and able to go to in real life events. And like, so for him coming over and coming into America, and Falda, like major props to you and Falda, like sponsoring him, getting him here, meeting him, hooking him up with a tick, like just the whole thing. And it all happened because of this little thing called Top Shot. That, you know, it's you're not alone. You're both wearing Boston green, saying, you know, go Celtics. Like
I've
you're
actually
one family.
met
It's
Paul
one big
Pierce.
family.
I've actually met Pierce a bunch of times. He's a great dude. Honestly, he's just always down to
What?
earth. Yes,
He really
You
is.
can't just drop in there, Andy. He's like, yeah, I mean, I've met him a bunch of times, no big deal. Like,
listen,
what?
he's a
What do
good
you
dude.
mean?
First time I ran into him, it was out in the wild. We were in Vegas. He was
I love it.
he was at the Palms celebrating with the championship, Boston Celtics. So this was what takes it back to, was it 09, I believe, was it?
2008.
2008. Oh, 2008. Yep. Right after that, they went to the Palms in Vegas. Garnett was there. Pierce was there. They were just having a good old time up in the VIP area. But then as the day went on, they came out to the pool and they started hanging with almost everybody. It was security really was around, but everybody was calm. But, you know, they spent some time walking around. They were really just like, everybody was chill about it.
They're probably just taking it all in.
Yeah, for sure. So he seemed really cool there. And then years later, I've worked with him on some stuff, and I gotta tell you, he's like one of the nicest dudes. We'd be having some long days on shoots and working in video with him, and he just would order food for the entire crew. He was in the mood for empanadas, and he'd call up his favorite place in the city, and all of a sudden there'd be 75 empanadas showing up. So it was just a little piece of what kind of guy he is. So always had fun with Paul Pierce on set, and just a real cool player. Always fun around him for sure.
I have to say, Wiz, that I was super grateful to meet him. I met him last Sunday. I had bought a VIP ticket for his Truth Lounge, something that was fairly new. He came to Boston and did it the previous series in the Eastern Conference Finals. He did it once, and then he did this again for Game 2 of the NBA Finals, where he basically had an hour prior to his podcast starting where he would hang out with people and say what's up, take pictures, sign some stuff. So I was able to dap him up, talk to him a little bit, take a picture with him. It was really cool. And he seems just like he has been on TV.
Yeah.
Very down to earth, very cool guy, willing to, just have fun and be himself.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
That's so awesome when you get to meet someone that, because it's always the opposite feeling when you meet someone that always seems really nice and they're just like blowing you off and like, get out of my way or whatever. And then you meet the guy, you're like, you're even nicer in real life. Like what? How can anyone not like you? It's like, you're amazing. You're a great basketball player. You're a good human. Like it's like, go on.
Yeah, it's
if
true.
I played for the Mavericks, he would have been amazing. They would have been one of my favorite all-time players.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But no, players a lot of times more than not have been really nice. I really find that I think they're just used to the public and used to being in the public's eye that you have to kind of embrace it all the time, especially when you're high profiled. So a lot of, for the most part, they're all really pretty down to earth and good team players. Obviously, you got to be a team player to be there. So I think they really just type into. That's why there's so much fan attraction towards sports. Just because it's they relate well to the fan base. Who doesn't want to get in with a crowd after you win a game? Just like NFL, they're jumping into the stands. I mean, what other kind of profession does that? I'm at collecting at the toll booth, and you're jumping into people's cars after they're throwing you change. I mean, it's just not, there's not many professions where you jump in there and you're hugging your client, your customers around you in a way. I mean, it's a pretty cool aspect to it.
Yeah, it is. So, Andy, you mentioned game 2. You've gone to 2 watch parties that are either at the arena or next to the arena. But have you seen a finals game yet in person in the arena or no?
I have not. I considered buying some tickets earlier when the finals started because I feel like they have gone up in price every single game. So I feel like game one I could have went for 700, which isn't too bad. But then I'm just going by myself, so it's not as fun.
Right.
Because I have a friend that works. I have a friend who's a rep, and he's been able to get me tickets before, but it's still at a price. So I considered it, but I just didn't pull the trigger. I figure I've been around the watch parties, been around other fans. I feel like going to restaurants with your friends is fun too. So however it plays out, as long as we're competing and we're there, that's the cool part.
Bro, you nailed it. At the end of the day, as I'm pumped, no matter what happened, I'm pumped that the Mavs are in the finals. Like, I could have been sitting, like, we could have been at home on vacation, and I still would have been watching the finals, but it wouldn't have been as fun, as invigorating, as exciting, as nerve-wracking, and, like, I want to yell, I want to cry. We're going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to do it. Like, so many emotions, and it's great to just be here at the time because it's like we're going to blink and all of a sudden the season's over. Like, the draft is literally right around the corner, days from now. Like, let's transition to that real quick. And we'll start with you, WizWit, first, and we'll come to you, Andy, and then I'll wrap it up on the draft. Are you excited about the draft? Is there, like, you got some good picks? I know we don't have a Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I know that's we don't have we're gonna have to do something to get some higher picks at the moment because it seems like we lost them all somewhere along the way here. But I think we'll see what could be done. I mean, there are some good pieces, and I think there's some interesting things with the way. Obviously, it's a rebuild, position that we're in. So it's kind of interesting to see what they do and what pieces come into play. We got a new head coach. You got Jordi Fernandez in, so it's a lot of new things. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe they make a move to pull on something that he's familiar with in the draft. I mean, he coached Team Canada, you never know. You got, I mean, Zach Edey's in this draft. I believe it's somebody he's already worked with. Maybe that's a pick that they can get, they can secure if they can maybe trade up a little bit and get. I don't think he's going in the. I'm sure he'll go in the first round, but he's not going to be in the top 10. I don't see. So maybe that's some guy that they could build around and draft, and they got a lot of good pieces, I think, in the youth that they do have on the team. So it's good to see what's going to complement them and Cam Thomas, and building around him and Clowney are just showing, good talent for the future. So we'll see what happens with Bridges, but I know there's speculation if he's going to go, do you trade him? Do we keep him?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we get Miles Bridges? Kind of have him come over, and I mean, there's some free agency stuff coming up, so you never know.
And it's got to be interesting for you and the Nets fans, like a new coach, right? That's always a big year. Like first year, new coach. What's he going to do? Yeah. Who's he like? Who's he not like? How crazy is the draft about to get and trades we're about to make? And
for sure. You got
whatever
Juwan
I think
Howard,
I know, it's going to be opposite of whatever I think is going to happen, right?
For sure. Yeah, there's always one piece that messes up everything. So you never know. There's always one team does something unlike what everybody's predicting, and then that's it. Depending on what happens after that. But it could be it could be an interesting year depending on what they do because you got a lot of strong pieces there. And believe it or not, like it's I know it's because it's like where the Nets have kind of have been over the years. It's like you're going from a team of KD's your guy. Then it's all right, KD and Kyrie. All right, now we're gonna add Harden to the mix. It's like you're really just like bought into this dream team that was gonna last for.
That we're gonna ship off and give to the teams in the finals, right?
Yeah, you bought in until
AndyMac and I both appreciate who you contributed. I love. Thanks for Kyrie, and I'm sure he's pumped for KP. So.
Yeah, for sure. New York's here to help everybody. That's what it comes down to. We'll get the guys, and then we'll see who needs them for championship runs. And then we'll send them away. That's pretty much how it's working here amongst most of our sports.
Oh, my God.
We haven't won, I think 2012 is when the New York Giants won. That's the last championship we've seen here in the four major sports. So
and that also hurts because Giants and Cowboys. So
all right. We're not going to go into football talk.
Let's not bring up those bad memories.
Let's not bring up football talk. Then we go.
Andy, I mean, this is an interesting question for you because your team's in the finals. You're in the driver's seat. Like, you got a stacked team. Like, is Al going to stay? Is he going to, if you win the championship, do you think he retires as an NBA champion and he's gone? Do you think he stays?
I don't think so. I think Horford has a lot to offer still. I mean, even as you can see right now, what he's still providing on defense. I feel like he's more of a defense first player, and he can score if you need him to, but I feel like he'd stick around. I mean, I'm thinking about a guy like Jordan Walsh, who, we drafted, but he hasn't really played.
He hasn't played, right?
He spent more time with our affiliate, with the Maine Red Claws. So I feel like there's guys like, I think we have was it JD Davidson as well. There's a couple different guys that I'm not sure what they're going to offer, but I am really curious about Jordan Walsh and what he could potentially offer in the future. I feel like the Celtics are going to extend a lot of players. Like they've already, obviously Jason Tatum is next. I'm sure he's the priority, but they extended Holiday, right? And if Porzingis can stay healthy, and you look at who we've already locked up, right? Yeah. So if you look at how the core is and all the moves Brad Stevens has made, I feel like it was interesting that he brought in Tillman, and then Tillman is, Tillman really just stands out in that most recent game where he did that some rebounds, he has blocks, but it was a crazy move to get him. I feel like Brad Stevens has been excellent in what he's doing. So I'm sure he has players on his radar for the draft. I'm not really sure what the Celtics are looking for right now. I always hope for
it's a weird position, right? Because you got to,
Well, I was going to say, we were talking about earlier, I always hope for a big man that can score. So I mean, obviously having Porzingis is great, but I'm sure it'd be good to get someone who could back him up. Or with Horford getting older and Porzingis injury prone, it'd probably be. We have that guy. If I want to say his name's pronounced Neemias Queta, and he's got some potential too. But I feel like it's always good to have a nice big.
Oh, for sure. Is there anyone that you think that is not going to come back to Boston? Like, if you win a championship, you'd have to be pretty dumb to not want to come back to the same team, right? Well,
I think obviously sometimes it's a money situation. If a player's not making much with the current team they're on, then and someone else like what they saw during the playoffs during the season, they offer them a nice contract. So I'm not sure who is a free agent going into this summer. I'm not really sure about that, but I feel like our core will be there. Maybe someone like Pritchard. I don't know when Pritchard. I don't know what Pritchard's contract situation is, but I feel like Pritchard's always looking to. He's always looking to play like everybody else and get those minutes and get those buckets. So
for sure,
I just feel like
you're never more valuable than coming off a championship team, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're coming from a championship team to a team that's not, there's value in that. So
sure.
I guess
I'm not positive who it would be if anybody. Things always change over the summertime, right? Anything could happen.
Yeah, I'm going to duplicate your answer and give that for the Mavs because we got a lot of young guys, and then we have like a couple older guys. And so our young guys, they're still developing. It's like Lively, right? I'm super pumped at him over the next 2, 3, 4 years of the player he becomes. I feel like we do need some more outside perimeter shooters like that are a little more consistent, but at the same time, they're all young enough they got to play together. They got to like gel. I think Kyrie comes back. I think Luka's not going anywhere. So it'll be interesting to see what the front office does with some of the draft picks and what they do with some of the free agents. And because if you remember to the last year, Dallas did some crazy stuff getting to get Gafford, just all these pieces moving around, even how Kyrie ended up here. It's just so it's also kind of what we were talking about. WizWit said it's scary because it's like, whatever I think they're going to do, it's probably not going to happen. It's going to be something I've never even thought or expected. But I know the core group, the core players are going to be there, which is, what makes it exciting every year. Even if you don't win, it's like we could have, and next year we're only going to be better. Or at least that's our hopes. Sometimes it's not always that way. Look at Denver, right?
When you look at a guy like PJ Washington, I'm sure, having him for a full offseason, that would help.
Yeah.
Like you said, Lively. I mean, I think it's cool that Tyson Chandler's been his mentor and he's helping him out. I'm sure Lively will continue to improve and get better.
But even like Exum coming in, and I'm pretty sure he came from the Utah Jazz. I want to say Colton would be pumped that I remembered that. But it's just so many guys that it's like, but you don't really know. I don't know what to expect, which is kind of like expect the unknown. That's where I'm at. Because we got a good squad. Y'all got a great squad. I mean, the Nets you got some talent to where one or two key players, and, it changes a lot. It puts you right back in contention. And all you got to do, we all know, all you got to do is make the playoffs. Because if you make it, everything else is out the door. Anyone can play amazing. Anyone, the best team in the world, can just deflate on themselves. And anything's possible, right?
I mean, and especially in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it was a year where the Knicks and the Pacers got pretty far, and I mean before the season started, to think that it would be in the final 8, and then the final 4, the Pacers went on to it. So it's a league where one player on the team could make the difference, as Brunson did for the Knicks. I mean, the Nets have a lot of good talent. If they get that one piece that just elevates them and makes them motivated enough to play, because looking at the Nets season last year, as a whole, a lot of Net fans could be like, well, we were out of it 75% way through the season. But if you look at a lot of the teams that they ended up beating, there was some good caliber teams that they beat. I know they took the Lakers out a game, the Thunder they beat, the Suns, who were healthy and had, the really players are all. Yeah. So it's if you could compete on those big nights and you can get up for those games, it's it's kind of say, well, you got to work on that day to day, and maybe that your one player can make that difference. Because if you have the talent to take down some of those big teams like that, I think they took the Heat down twice in the season as well. With Butler playing, so it's they could be competitive, and we'll see. See what the whole season brings.
All it takes is that one guy, and sometimes it's like for San Antonio, it's that rookie that comes in.
Yeah.
Like I would have loved to be able to go to NBA Con and to be able to watch him play, and to be able to watch before the season even started, and just be a part of that, because that's one thing I've never really been into, is watching all the guys that are about to come into the league and the rookies and the guys, and watch them and just really like be pumped about. I knew we weren't getting Victor, so I was like, who cares about him? You know what I mean? I was like, it's not even an option for us.
Yeah.
Have either of y'all ever been to NBA Con, or have y'all ever gone and watched some of the games early on or anything like that?
So last year I went to NBA Summer League, and got to watch the players like you're talking about. NBA Con was put together last summer for the first time. which was really exciting. I met up with a bunch of Top Shot people, or met a lot of people that I've talked to on Discord but never met. So that was really cool. We're still kind of waiting to see if there's anything that's going to transpire with NBA Con this summer, because I feel like around this time last year, this is when I was buying tickets for it. So
Right.
we're a little concerned. We haven't heard anything. And they said around March, when I was commenting on Twitter, that there was an announcement coming, but still haven't heard anything. And I actually put a post in the team captain's Discord chat recently, just asking if anybody's going. And James Dillon Bond said that he was waiting for more information. I'm like, well, it's June, so I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, there's still gonna be NBA Summer League, but NBA Com was really fun. It was really cool. All basketball stuff for basketball.
That's what
players.
I heard. So it's like, man, you would think it'd be a big thing to come back and to do again, and to get collectors or just NBA fans to be able to go to and a part of. Right?
Yeah, no, it was an incredible experience, KingBrett. I really had a great time. I never would have thought it would be that much fun, but it was. Yeah. So, but Summer League's really cool too. Seeing the players that are trying to make a team or trying to move on to that next big thing and trying to make a roster and have a chance to go into the preseason and get that far is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've never been able to catch a game, but been to the draft at the Barclays Center two years ago. The Chet Holmgren draft, and it was definitely fun to see from afar, just like kind of all the players, all the families, just on that night to see I guess a bunch of young guys' lives change. So it was really nice to witness that. But and haven't been able to catch them actually in playing form. But it's a cool time. It's a cool thing if you're ever in the area where the draft is being held. I think it's at Barclays Center again this year. So it's definitely if you're around, the tickets aren't too bad either. But it's cool. It's cool to go attend and take a look if you can.
It's definitely on my bucket list. I've always wanted to go to one of the drafts. I've always wanted to just experience it, be a part of it. I went to one of the NFL drafts one time. I was lucky enough to have a friend that was a sports agent and able to get in, and it's one of the highlights of my life. It's just being there with those people, and literally their lives are changing like every 30 seconds. And some of those lives change for our teams, and then it's even better, right?
Yeah, for real.
I remember when we got Luka, I freaked out. I was like, y'all, any team, you didn't want Luka? You are I was going nuts, right? So it's such
How many people passed on Luka, Brett?
Oh man, dude, I want a lot. I feel like more than I want to say. Whatever number I say is going to be wrong, but I mean, there were at least 4 or 5 teams that passed on Luka just off the top of my head. And it's like, but again, that's some of the best players of all time weren't the first round picks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. That's how it works.
It is, man. Before we wrap up, it's been so much fun just talking ball. I'm so happy that this has been a civil Boston Celtics, Mavericks, and the Nets podcast, because my last few pods haven't been so friendly. And I have to say, as a fellow captain, I expected nothing less than what I received today. You are a wonderful human being, Andy. You are a great captain. And dude, watching the stuff that you do for the Boston community and all the other guys that you work with and found, like everyone, I know Boston based isn't a captain, but I know you work closely with him and he helps out so much that, dude, as a captain, I know how much work goes into putting it on. And we do this because we love basketball and we love our teams and we love Top Shot. It's not like we're getting salaries for this. We don't get private yacht invites. Trust me, I would have been there. I will take free pizza or free queso. I have a free queso card. Just the pizza. I'll take free pizza for life. Any of you that want to supply it.
Listen, I got you pizza if you come to Brooklyn. So just let me know. All right.
I'm gonna plan
Don't
a trip.
we got you.
I recently married. One of my goals is I want to go see a home game, Dallas play all the great teams, all the great stadiums, because it's something I haven't done. I've been in a lot of NFL stadiums, a lot of Major League Baseball stadiums, but I've only been to about 6 or 7 of the NBA stadiums. There's a lot of really great ones out there. Speaking of 2 in this community, in this conversation right here. Any last minute thoughts? Anything you want to say pro Dallas, pro Boston, pro Nets here before we wrap up?
I think it's kind of funny that, like you were saying, with the fact that we have a representative from Dallas and we have a representative from Brooklyn / New York and Boston, and we didn't have any controversy.
I know.
Really.
That's what everybody was hoping for, right? That's what everyone was hoping for.
No one punched anyone in the crowd or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think that I think it's funny. I don't know if you saw this, but we had a watch party in Boston at the TD Garden on Wednesday, I believe it was. And there was a fight. And I was right across from him. Like, why are these guys fighting? We're at a watch party. So I don't know what they were fighting about.
Epic.
But yeah, guys throwing punches at each other. It's just like, come on. I mean, obviously, I'm sure some adult beverages were involved, but
when in Boston, though, you gotta Boston. What I love about Boston fans, you don't hide anything. You wear it all on the sleeve. You'll tell anyone, no matter who it is, to go F off or that you love them. Like, you don't hide your emotions. You just lay it all out there. So at least a lot of Boston fans.
I imagine New York and Brooklyn fans are the same, because I feel like I've been to a lot of sporting events where, you see the passion from both sides. And, I was really considering, Wiz, to come down to your event. I think it was on a Friday. I think it was bowling. I was getting ready to come down, but I'm a teacher and a coach, so my schedule's pretty busy, and I really wanted to, but I wasn't able to. But I'd like to definitely, come out and visit at some point, or, invite you as well, and, other captains, where we can get together and do something, because I feel like community is everything.
That'd be awesome. Definitely.
I'd like to come. And Wiz, I gave Andy some props. You too, dude. The stuff since you've been a captain, just coming in and just organizing things and being proactive. There's a green towel about to fly. I can already feel it and see it. But dude, you're doing some great stuff for the community, and I've heard nothing but great things about you. And it's so great to be able to interact and see each other and talk about pizza and love for food. You sound like a cool dude. I'd like to go grab a beer and talk some Top Shot, buddy.
Sounds good. We're trying to definitely do some more events next season. And also working with Mark and CJ over at the Knicks community. It's helpful. We could kind of join forces to try to get something going on. So that was the last event we did with the 9 Lives Lounge. We had a bowling event and had people out to watch the Knicks versus Nets watch party at the one of the last few games of the season with that. But definitely look to come on down when we put something else together. I'm always trying to come up with something different and just try to get different groups of people. For this summer right now, I'm trying to organize a little role-playing Dungeons and Dragons basketball themed event to go on for a couple weeks.
Okay.
So, I mean, when there's no sports, I said we're gonna have to do something to liven up the summer. So we're gonna try to put that together and collab with a bunch Collectin and Connectin. You guys already giving us a thumbs up on a collab with that.
Awesome.
The
that would be exciting.
Rogue Bunnies and Flunks are in on it. So trying to get a bunch of different NFT groups together to do something different, little sports themed role play for prizes. And
I like it.
I can't wait. Keep it moving. So
I can't wait to see some more info on that. I know some ears perked up that are listening.
All right.
That are excited. So
very
guys, cool. Episode 54, Collecting, Connecting, 3 captains, 3 great teams. Only one holding an NBA Finals towel as of right now. Great having you all. Thank you. Keep doing the good work. Go Boston. Only time I've ever said on a podcast. But I'm only saying it because go Nets.
Yeah, we go.
Mavs, baby.
There we go.
There we go. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Absolutely, guys.
Thank you.